What's going on, guys? This is Bobby Douglas. Welcome to another 2021 NBA Draft Prospect full game video breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a look at USC big man and potential top 5 pick Evan Mobley. Mobley was really the catalyst that sparked USC's Elite 8 run in the tournament this past year, as he averaged around 17 points and 8 rebounds a game. Really good defensively. I think he has some Rudy Gobert upside on that end of the floor. And I'm really excited to watch him play today. This game, he is against Cal, and he's going to finish with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and 3 assists on 6 of 13 shooting and 12 of 15 from the free throw line. He also hits a 3 as well. So I'm excited to watch this game with you guys, and let's get right into it. So Mobley's going to be number 4 in the red, and he's going to be taking the jump ball right here. Gets a pretty late jump on that, but manages to win that tip-off somehow. And basically, Mobley, for USC, on offense, he'll be utilized as a screener a lot. Just kind of in the pick and roll, pick and pop. And that's something that he can really strive in that type of role in the NBA, just because he does have that projectable shooting form. And then obviously his interior game is pretty good in terms of touch. Defensively, he's just a total monster on that end. Rim protection, he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. And I think he's the first person to do that in a conference since Anthony Davis in 2012, as USC is going to hit that 3. But Mobley can really just do it all on both ends, I would say, at least defensively right now, and then offensively. Like, he can get there in a few years, but he has all of the flashes that you would want to see from a big man. As you can see him right there in the post, kind of trying to deny and get in front of that post player for Cal. He does need to get a little bit stronger, especially with his lower body. He has a high center of gravity, which leads to him getting pushed around a little bit more than you would like to see. That's a good contest right there. But overall, like his awareness is good. His instincts are phenomenal. And so there are just, there are just a lot of things to like with him. And you can see him being used in that screener role, and here he is in the mid post. And so right there, looks like we got it. Oh, yeah, there we go. And then he's going to get that rebound and dunk it with his left hand. An underrated thing about Mobley is that he's very comfortable around the basket with both hands on both ends. So he'll block shots with either hand. He can finish close to the basket with either hand. And he's comfortable going to that left hand, which is actually something that you don't really see. The thing is, he usually only likes to go right when he's in the post. A lot of times he'll go over that left shoulder and try and finish with his right hand. But other than that, like, in terms of just, like, the comfort level that he does show, like, I think he does have that with his left hand. There is some, like, natural instinct there, which is good. And I think that's Drew Peterson with the 3. Taj Edey's going to get that rebound. You can see Mobley just kind of patrolling the paint. Let's see what he does here. And again, not much. Another screen and roll. And here he is. Let's see what he does here. And again, so that's kind of like it's almost like Giannis-like, how he's able to get some of these, like, get to his spots. So, like, right here, like, he takes 3 steps, and they're all super long strides, and then due to that length and size, he's able to just kind of, like, rise and fire over the top. He doesn't make the shot, but he does draw a foul here. So just right here, just, like, kind of like, he does have that basic handling ability where, like, he can string together 1 or 2 dribbles without really looking like a fool out there. I'm not saying he can, like, be in, like, an extended off the dribble guy right now, but I think he does have that potential down the road. As we watch him shoot free throws right here, he was only a 70% free throw shooter, but I do think that he was, like, I think the shot form is projectable. In this game, he's 12 of 15. So, like, I'm not really worried about the shot. Like, we talked about Greg Brown yesterday and how, like, his percentages maybe were better than what his shooting form would suggest. I think with Evan Mobley, it's the opposite, where, like, his shooting form, I think, is more encouraging than what his percentages would suggest. So, like, long term, I would take Evan Mobley's jump shot over Greg Brown's. I'm keeping that in mind as well. Like, despite the percentages, I've seen his form, I've seen, like, how his range can be projectable, and so I'm a believer in the shot for Mobley. And so if he gets that down, like, all of a sudden you're looking at a guy offensively that can do a whole lot of stuff. And right here you can see him just kind of get downhill, full head of steam, and draw another foul. Eventually, you'd want to see him convert those into and ones, but again, that'll help as he gets more strength added to him, because right now I think he's going to get punished. And so a lot of scouts and NBA draft people want to see him play next to a more traditional big man. So they're talking like like they're saying with Houston, for example, with Christian Wood, someone like that, as Mobley can kind of grow into his own body a little bit better. I think he made that free throw anyway, but we've seen already free throws. So, but again, like, so somebody that can really kind of like handle the grunt work defensively and let Mobley kind of just be like just kind of like an athletic freak, stretch four type of player. Because I think he can guard both forward positions, I would say. I should say like both big man traditionally, so 4s and 5s. Right there, that's a really good contest by Mobley. He just couldn't get enough contact on it, I think. You can see him right here. He's kind of in the post. And he's going to get that rebound again. Good job waiting. Good job using that step to get further into the lane. And then he draws the contact after being like it looked like 4 guys were on him. So here is free throw number 1. And again, like I think that's a beautiful stroke. So I'm not worried about that at all, honestly. And free throw number 2 that we're not going to see, but he makes it anyway. And so when I'm looking at Mobley, I just see like defensively, I think he is phenomenal already. I think he has like Rudy Gobert potential on that end. I really do. And then offensively, you're just kind of looking at like someone who has shown all the tools and all the flashes, and then if he can string those together into more consistent play, like he's going to be a really good player, I think, in the league for many years. And so again, here he is in the post. Defensively, USC ran a little bit of a 2-3 zone, especially later in the year, and you're going to see it in this game as well. And Mobley's kind of just like the centerpiece of that. He'll just basically the goal of the USC defense, especially later in the year, was to kind of funnel drivers towards Mobley so that way he can go up and get shot, get blocks and things like that. As you see him right there with the rebound and then the rip and run, which is just really just something that could be totally valuable. Initiating the fast break on his own, which is always really good. But the USC defense, as I was saying, it's very much just funnel the ball into your best rim protector and then have him block whatever shot, that comes near it. And so right there, another underrated thing about Mobley is his gravity as a lob threat. Okay, so Mobley has one of the best catch radiuses in college basketball, I think, and probably in this draft class, which means that like wherever the lob is going, like his length and athleticism allows him to catch pretty much any ball thrown near the rim. And so because of that, Cal doesn't want to leave him open for the lob, and this is going to create a driving lane for, I think this is Isaiah White right here, and he's going to come right down Main Street, and it's going to be a wide open layup because Mobley's defender doesn't want to leave him for the open lob. So right there you could see like he's late to help because he doesn't want to leave Evan Mobley, and that's just the type of off-ball gravity that he does have as a lob threat and as a big man. And then defensively you're going to see that as well because it's almost like he's almost like a magnet, right? So on offense, like he attracts defenders, and then on defense, he repels his opponents, right? Because they don't want to get their shot blocked. And Mobley has such good range on that end of the floor that he almost doesn't want to. That players don't really want to even challenge him, right? So it's very Rudy Gobert-like, I think, in just how good of a shot blocker he is, and just the overall threat level that people feel when they're near Mobley. And I think Mobley's out right here for a little bit, so I will skip ahead to 12:21. He comes back in. And here we go. And so again, here's Mobley going to use that beat of screener here. Not much going on. The thing with Mobley too, I mean, like obviously I talked about the strength, and that kind of like it makes him passive at times, right? So, there will be stretches of games where he doesn't really touch the ball a whole lot, doesn't really hunt his shot, as he pretty much should as a top 5 potential pick, right? And so there are concerns just like, is he really like kind of like, is he a really go-to scorer down the line? Can he do that? Because that's what you're really trying to get at with a top 5 pick, pretty much. And there are concerns like just with Mobley and pretty much every big guy nowadays. Like, is he a go-to scorer? And so, Mobley, I'm not really sure if he's ever going to be like a number one, but he can be a very, very good number two, I would say, in terms of scoring on a championship or a high-level playoff team. I do think the mold he kind of should be following is probably like an Anthony Davis type, like one of those hybrids that can really, like defend probably like 3 through 5, and then, be an offensive weapon as well on these mid-post turnaround jump shots. He can knock down a 3, finish with the lob, things like that. I think that's probably like the career path and the career arc I would be following or trying to follow if I'm Evan Mobley. Right here, really nice job by Mobley being in 2 spaces at once. And then he's also going to just force this man to travel because he is worried about the blocked shot coming. So he doesn't even get this shot off. And you can see right there, it's a travel. Mobley's right there. And again, he was a little bit late to recover, and he was kind of put in an awkward situation, but he was still able to just impact that shot really, really dramatically, leads to a turnover for Cal. And here's Mobley again. He does show good passing instincts as well. His eyes are always up the floor, especially in transition. Like, he will try and hit runners down the floor. Out of the post, he's really good. He can seek out double teams and then kick it out to where, just to where like the double team came from for open shots. And we'll see that in the first half and later in the second half as well. But again, that's what I mean. Like, Mobley right there, again, he didn't even move his feet right here, and he's still able to just easily snag this ball away, and he's really good in passing lanes because of that length. He has great instincts, and right there, that's a bad pass, but Mobley's right there to capitalize on that mistake by Cal. And then that's what I mean, right? So this ends in a turnover, right? And so he does have a little bit of rawness to him offensively, and that's what I mean. Like, it's more flashes, but they were highly productive flashes. And so Mobley, I do like that he's looking up the floor and looking to hit runners in transition, and that's kind of like part of the, grab and go to 5s, right? And so I do like that he's looking up the floor here, and he just can't really connect. Probably not the best decision, but I understand what he was trying to do, and I can appreciate the vision that he showed on that pass. And I think that's pretty special for a big guy to even look at that. So again, like those are the types of mistakes that don't really concern me a whole lot, just because I think as he gets more repetition and just more skilled in the NBA, I think those passes will hit a lot more of the time. And here we go. So Mobley's going to be on the block again. Looks like it's going to be a ball screen. And again, so right there is just another example of Mobley just getting pretty much mowed down by just like a smaller player. And again, this is what I mean. Like, look at how skinny his legs are, right? And so he really needs to get better lower body strength, because I don't think he can be an effective screen setter right here, right? So I think this is Matt Bradley. He's just going to basically just like plow into Mobley, right? And Mobley's going to fall to the ground. Right, so like right there, like maybe a little bit of a dirty play. Right there, that's definitely kind of dirty. But overall, like I do think he needs to get stronger, because that does show up like rebounding wise, especially like Mobley averaged 8 a game, but there were games where he only got like 2 or 3 boards, and that was mainly because like he just couldn't really box out these guys because they were stronger than him, and so that should change. But with the high center of gravity and just his overall like skill, like that is a little bit of a concern for me, because I'm not really sure if it's like the lack of strength leading to passivity or passivity like leading to the lack of strength. Like, is he gonna all of a sudden be a more aggressive rebounder when he gets stronger? I don't know. You know what I mean? So like sometimes these habits are kind of ingrained, and so there is like a little bit of an issue. Mobley is out right here, and I will skip ahead to 2041. Here we go. There we go. So we got the final 7.5 minutes of this first half. Mobley pretty much plays the entire second half as well, so that's something to keep in mind. He played, I think, 35 minutes in this game. And here he is in the post. Again, mid-post, he likes going over that left shoulder. And right there, that should be a finish pretty much every time. And again, like with more repetition and things like that, he should be able to finish those. And a lot of those did go in. He shot like 57% from the floor this year, which is pretty good. So I expect those things to go in a little bit more often. But again, he is pretty predictable once he gets into that position. He does love going over that left shoulder. And so he needs to kind of diversify his post moves a little bit, I would say, if he really wants to be kind of like a good like offensive player in that position. And here we go, Mobley back on defense. And again, we got almost a travel by Cal. And it looks like there's going to be a ball screen here. And again, putting Mobley in screens, he's really good in drop coverage, and I think he can switch a little bit as well. So I think Mobley defensively is probably probably like my highest rated defensive prospect probably in this draft. Him and right there, that's like a crazy good block. Again, this is what I mean, like the offhand blocks. This is with his left hand, and again, he's blocking this out in like the middle of the lane, and that's like a pretty impressive block, right? So like you don't really see the range. A lot of these guys, like a lot of times it'll be near the rim, right in the restricted area, but Mobley can step out and kind of alter and block shots as we saw right there. And so that's something that's really, really impressive and really, really promising for his NBA prospects, I would say. Let's get Mobley kind of setting that off-ball screen. And then he's looking for that high-low action. He does do a nice job at kind of finding those passes, I would say. He had a lot of high-low passes, a lot of post kickouts after a double. So again, the passing vision I think is there with Mobley, and that's like kind of just another aspect, another tool to add for him in his game, I would say. Again, right there, really good shot contest by Mobley. The Cal player kind of had to rush it over him. And so again, like he does have that impact, even if he doesn't end up blocking a shot, just by his presence alone, it definitely impacts like a lot of what the offense can do, just because they are worried about that rim protecting big in the middle of the floor just causing havoc, right? So again, like the presence of Mobley alone is good enough defensively, at least here it was at USC, and then in the NBA, if he can show a little bit of shot blocking prowess, which I think he will be able to do, then like it should be a similar effect to what we saw in these games at USC. We got a offensive foul here. And so again, so now you can see USC's in this zone, and again, the whole goal of this is basically to funnel things into Evan Mobley and let him be a rim protector, right? Obviously, they're not going to try and and again, here's another block right here. They're not going to try and give him a free pass down the lane, but again, they'd rather just kind of funnel everything towards Evan Mobley if someone was to get beat. And so right here, you can see him, they're going to, again, right into Evan Mobley's wheelhouse. And again, look at how far he steps out and blocks this shot. This isn't where a normal block shot occurs. These floaters, that's not normal to be blocked, okay? A lot of times we'll see layup attempts, dunk attempts, but these floaters, that's a different animal, right? And so Mobley, just by blocking that shot, again, he instills fear into the offense and just further amplifies his defensive magnitude, right? And so again, it always comes down to the discussion, do we want a top 5 pick being a big man? Usually if you guys know me from my channel and if you guys saw the Evan Mobley video I did back in December, I want to say. And again, right here, just quick little thing. So again, Cal's going to do a pretty good job passing through the zone, but then this guy maybe has an open layup and he doesn't take it because he just saw Evan Mobley impact 3 shots in a row in which you had 2 blocks. So right here, this could be a shot, but he's trying to get Mobley up in the air, and Mobley doesn't even budge, right? And then he's able to, looks like there's a foul off the ball. But, again, just the off-ball magnitude that he has. But going back to what I said, do we want a top 5 pick being a big man? And so, I went through all these different years in the draft, and, there are obviously some success stories, Embiid obviously is a very good big man, and he should have been taken, probably number 1 in that 2014 class. But then you also have Karl Anthony Towns. But a lot of times, you look at Bender in 2016. You look at some of these big men in 2018 that really haven't played up to their potential just yet. There is a kind of a worrisome trend where it's just like, are these big guys even like value? They got to be like good defenders, right? And so, just one little thing here, Mobley with that pass, he's going to get the ball in the post, draws a double team here, and immediately finds Taj Edey for an open three in the corner. And again, that's with his left hand pinpoint pass, and it's going to lead to an assist for Mobley. But like, what type of traits allow big men taken this early to succeed? And almost always, it's defense. That's what gets you on the floor early, and then the offense comes, right? And so I look at the guys who really haven't panned out. Like, I guess you could say Kristaps was a success story, but like, look at him now, right? Defensively, he just isn't the same player. You look at Dragan Bender, who's obviously out of the league now. And so there are a lot of people like that where you're just kind of like, like, do we take him in the top 5? Should we get him in like, later into teens? So for me, what separates Mobley from most other big men that I've evaluated is just that his defense is just so far ahead of anything that I've seen. And so that's kind of why I'm like buying in on him, not to mention just like the overall flashes he's shown offensively. Like, you can't just be like a total, like, like lost cause on offense, obviously. But Mobley clearly isn't that. I think he's a very skilled offensive player, and I think he only has room to grow. And so when you combine that with just like his already like all NBA potential defense, I think that's enough for me to put him into that top 5 conversation. And probably top 3 when it comes down to it. I would say right now, like Mobley, Suggs, and Jalen Green are 2 through 4 in basically any order you want. I think they're all very close. Again, really nice pass by Mobley right there. And should have been an open 3 that Mobley kind of created, but that was a horrible turnover by USC. But, that just those types of passes that Mobley makes, I think, are very promising for his future. But yeah, no, 2 through 4 in this draft, I think you could put them in any order and I'd be okay with it. Right now I have Suggs, Mobley, Green in that order. But that obviously is due to change. And the good thing with Mobley too, so we looked at Isaiah Jackson earlier, right? And how I noted that like when he was playing with Olivier Sarr, it was kind of an issue in terms of spacing. With Mobley, like, there really is no issue with the spacing because he's just so, he's so skilled. He can attack closeouts from the outside, and he has like that projectable shooting motion, right? And so there is just like he can play in a variety of different lineups, and the NBA is all about versatility and like doing multiple things well. And Mobley, I think, checks all those boxes in terms of that. So that's definitely like a major plus with him as well. So like a lot of these guys can only play if they're the only big men in the paint. Like that's how you get the most out of them offensively. Like, can they switch? Can they do all this? Mobley can do all of that, right? So, you're looking at him like you're looking at a guy who can definitely like be on the floor during these high intensity playoff battles that we've been seeing, and kind of just fit right in. Mobley almost got that offensive rebound. I would like to see him be a little bit more active on the offensive glass, just like more aggressive. But again, I think that'll come as we continue to see him develop. And you'd see him in the post right here, trying to body up that Cal post guy. And again, like it's kind of seeing like the Cal guy is kind of just working his way around Mobley, and that should get better as Mobley adds lower body strength, I would say. But I think in terms of just like his long-term upside, I think that's probably the most concerning thing. Honestly, I think it's probably just that. Like, it depends on the team that drafts him too. Like, are they going to make him play like a traditional 5 right away and have to go up against like Vucevic and Jokic and Embiid and all those guys, or are they going to have him like play more of that hybrid 4 or 5 that we see Anthony Davis play, where I think he could really thrive early on in his career. So it kind of just depends on the team that drafts him, I would say. So we'll see what ends up happening on draft night. But I do think team fit is probably a pretty important factor for Mobley when comparing him to the other like top 5 or so prospects. Yeah, free throws here. Final 40 seconds, 35 seconds now. Again, you can see Mobley kind of, now he's working in that trail position. That's another thing too. He can kind of in fast break, assuming like he passes it ahead, right? And then he can kind of trail for those like top of the key threes that are usually wide open. That's another thing that Mobley can end up doing, I think. We got, there we go. All right, this should be the last possession of the first half, and then I will stop this video and get to the second half video as well. We got 12 seconds left. USC looks like they're in a little bit of a zone right now. And again, they're funneling things towards it. So right here, that was probably Evan Mobley's worst defensive possession, just because like he's going to get burnt on this drive. He doesn't close out well. And so right here, you could already tell he's off balance, right? And so he kind of allows Matt, I think that's Matt Bradley, to go by him, and the layup's going to be right there. And again, that'll be the end of the first half. So I'll pause it right there. That's probably the worst possession that Mobley has had in this half, but that's not a bad worst possession, right? So yeah, that'll do it for the first half. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you heard my dog barking in the background, I apologize for that. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for part 2, and I will see you then. Bye.